What up, Bad News fam? Hope everyone's staying safe and inside. So like usual, me and Tal always try to bring the coolest guests with some crazy stories. But on this episode, it's just us kicking the shit, telling our stories. So hope you enjoy, and remember to rate, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram, because all news is bad news. And we're out.
I can't believe it. Extra, extra, read all about it. Hey, yo, bad news. Fuck going on?
Yeah, this is crazy.
I don't know, man. Well, we're here.
So many episodes.
So many episodes.
You know, it'd be crazy if we get a Popeye's chicken sandwich spot in here.
You see some guy got killed?
Yeah, killed. So, like, is that good PR or bad PR?
It's horrible PR.
But isn't, like, any...
He died
any PR
for
is good
a
PR?
chicken sandwich with pickles and mayo.
I got stabbed.
Cardi B was waiting in line. She's like, I bet you motherfuckers won't wait to vote. She was just like...
That's true, though. I already saw something that said, like, Russia's already ready to tamper with the elections in 2020, so...
Oh, my God.
Do the paper ballot, and then still cross your fingers.
I don't know.
That's
I think
weird.
the world's just like, this guy's coming in, this guy's staying.
I could do conspiracy theories, like, for days.
Talk about the documentaries you've been watching the last 48 hours.
I think it's called The Devil Next Door. It's a crazy new Netflix series about this mistaken identity case where this gentleman is being accused of being Ivan the Terrible from the Holocaust.
Oh, my God.
It's 8 episodes. It's really great. I'm like 3 deep into it.
He's being tried in an Israeli court, right?
Yeah, they claim that the Ukraine government came out and said that this guy was possibly one of like a group of individuals that got sent over to America after the Holocaust. And it's really interesting because now they're like, I'm only about halfway through, but in the doc, they're like bringing eyewitnesses from the Holocaust. And they're trying to show that like a lot of these witnesses like...
They just want revenge.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, I'm Israeli.
They don't even
care.
They don't even care that if this guy is the guy or not. They just want some blood.
People just like stood up in court that were at the Holocaust.
Yeah, and they're trying to say
him right away.
Yeah, but then like I don't want to give it all away for anyone that's going to want to watch it, but there's a nice little twist in there, and like some of the witnesses aren't as trustworthy as one would believe, and it's kind of like more the turmoil of the actual setting. So it was like this really, really dark kind of, but it's really interesting too how different governments work. Yeah. How like United States also like. Because he is a United States citizen, he was living in Cleveland at the time. Like, they didn't just let him go over to Israel by himself. His attorney went with and found another Israeli attorney, and they like really fought the case. And then the Israeli attorney they found like it really ruined his life, where he couldn't even go to the synagogue. His mom didn't want to talk to him. Really nice, robust story. But it's like kind of like those, Making a Murder, or
right.
I don't know. There's like they have a few of those like good Netflix series right now. Netflix is killing it, man. I saw something today though that says that. Netflix loses $1.5 billion a year in password sharing.
I saw that the other day.
So now they're trying to like limit you to be able to share your password. So they're going to like geolocate where you're watching from, and like whatever, like if you like set up your account in Vegas, if anyone ever tries to watch it anywhere else, they could flag it and be like, this is...
Yeah.
But I feel like it's my service. I should be able to give, and they let you have users on there. Like, why have this platform when you click this first screen and it like shows all those 5 users?
Because they need money.
Yeah, I'm sure they need money, but
like losing $1.5 billion a quarter, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I think
I don't even know anything about it. Abby, my wife, sets up everything. Otherwise, I don't even know how to tie my shoes. As you can tell, I don't tie my shoes. I just slip on.
Oh yeah. But the craziest thing about tying your shoes, like that's like an artist thing, right? Like Albert Einstein never tied his shoes. Like a lot of it can trace back to a lot of tying your shoes.
I didn't know that, but thank you for making me feel so good.
Yeah, no, like I used to not tie my shoes for long. Now I just barely tie them and keep them really loose. But
yeah,
I don't like stepping on the laces. Gotta keep the laces clean.
See, I was wearing Chucks my entire life, and then I realized how bad they were hurting my feet.
Oh yeah, they'll destroy your feet.
And I would wear them till there'd be holes in them because I was just like, Chucks have to be dirty. They gotta have holes in them. Like that's the only way they look good. If you have new Chucks on, you look like one of those like jocks who's just like a poser and wants to like wear white arnettes and just like just like he's got a convertible
white
Mustang
arnettes.
and you're just like, I fucking hate this guy.
Oh my god.
And it's like I would buy new Chucks and I would just literally right away like just dirty them up.
Did you only get the black ones or did you ever wear tans? I used to think
this
the
on
cream
Halloween.
One, the cream and the
on Halloween
tans
I
were always
dressed
my favorite.
Yeah, on Halloween I wore some white ones that were like super dirt. but I never feel right. Chucks to me have to be all black canvas with the white.
Did you ever rock any PF flyers?
I did.
Yeah?
Yeah, this dude I used to know worked there, and he would send me some PF flyers.
That's the only thing I think
And
about
then Benny
PF
the
flyer.
Jet Rodriguez from Sandlot, he made it so much cooler.
Yeah, but they got that huge, thick sole. It's like kind of like.
But that's how
clunky
some of the new
military
Chucks are.
boot. Yeah.
You know,
I think like everyone's jacking that now, right? Like so many people use that silhouette now.
I mean, look at Josh Videz. He did that collaboration. That was with Converse, right? Mm-hmm. Like Velcroed everything.
That was super cool.
That was super cool.
Yeah, I would take that in a heartbeat.
But lately, I've just been wearing either Nikes or Vans.
But you got those really high-end Sakai's right now. Everyone's trying to get.
Yeah.
Those are like super limited.
I'm a sample size.
Yeah, you're
so
lucky.
I'm lucky to being a sample size is a size 9 for men. So I have friends that work at Nike and they just send the coolest stuff. And I have them send it to my office on purpose so Matt could see the Nike box because he just gets angry for the entire day.
And you know,
I'm
Nike,
like, what's wrong? I was like, you just see that box at your office? I was like, what box? He's like, the one that says Nike on it.
they're super flamboyant. They use their own packing tape now, so like you can tell that it's a Nike. It says just do it on the packing tape.
Yeah,
so as soon as the box comes, you're like, oh, I know what these are. I don't even need to look. And I used to work for Adidas, so I know the shapes of boxes. So like when you see like when you're selling like, oh, there's 2 boxes side by side in this cool nifty box.
Yeah.
It's really insane. I've been reading listening to so many books on tape, especially I've been finishing up, Tal finished it before me, but I was finishing up currently the Scar Tissue, Anthony Kiedis book.
That's the best book ever written.
And I'm just like crazy, like taken back by
when you listen to the Anthony Kiedis book, you're like, yo, man, like, stop doing drugs.
Yeah, man.
Man, the whole book is pretty much Anthony doing heroin.
Yeah, just binge, clean, binge, clean, binge,
Hawaii,
clean.
Then he met the Dalai Lama.
They basically
There's
touch.
so many good
they touch
stories
this
in
thing
there.
is like every time he like loses a love interest that he basically goes and uses. So.
Yeah.
But it's really crazy too because he tells a lot of stories of other people's addictions, which I think is like interesting, but also kind of like a no-no.
I don't think people realize even like one how old of a band Red Hot Chili Peppers is, you know, how successful they really are, and how many bands they put on.
Yeah.
You know, like people probably don't know that Red Hot Chili Peppers took out Pearl Jam for the first time. They gave them their first chance. Smashing Pumpkins. Like I was like, when I got into that chapter, I was like, what?
Yeah. All the bands that played around that time too is just so insane. Like LA must have been just
LA
like,
was awesome.
must have been walking down the street being like, oh yo, there's Anthony Kiedis. Oh yo, there's.
It's like they're like Anthony was, you know, they were talking about how like LA Weekly used to have an award show, and Red Hot Chili Peppers won like the band of the month or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like that's what made
was a
them.
huge
it was
thing.
huge, and like they already like they were broken up. You know, Anthony like got kicked out of the band. You know, so like Flea was up there like getting this award. You know, it was just.
And then like the craziest thing is there's so much like the YouTube. I sent Tal like a bunch of like YouTube videos I found of like the band just playing in the house. Just like so much archival footage and like mini docs and fan docs and stuff like that out there that you can spend hours, and like the photographs and the time period. Like it's really, really, really interesting. I'm kind of torn though. I don't know what book I'm going to choose next. I think we're going to go art.
Yeah, we got to do art.
We're going to talk about like the art market and how like buyers and sellers work.
And after that, I'll read the Flea book.
Yeah, Flea book's got to come.
I
might just wait and get the Flea book.
Yeah.
And then push art into next. I don't know.
Yeah.
So then I could do Anthony Kiedis right into Flea.
It's pretty good because it's got to be 2 different stories.
Totally.
But Flea waited a while, man. Scar Tissue's been out that's been out. It's been out for a minute. I was telling Matt the other day I was watching Point Break, and Anthony Kiedis is in Point Break, and it's one of my favorite movies.
That's like the best scene too.
Yeah.
Like one of the best.
Not
scenes.
the new Point Break, the old Point Break.
Yeah, the new Point Break's trash.
Yeah.
Don't even watch that.
Don't even watch that. And you look at Anthony Kiedis, and he's got like this crazy like Indian haircut. You know.
Oh yeah, the sides
like
are
the
just totally
sides are all
shaved.
shaved and braided on the back, and he looks so cool. But like now seeing that movie, I'm like, that's chapter 12 in Scar Tissues. You know, this dude was so strung out on heroin.
I wonder if they like painted his arms or something, because he talks about his track marks being real bad. So I got to like maybe spin that back and see if I can see anything.
It's crazy.
Super crazy, man.
Yeah, I'm changing it up. I'm not listening to as much music anymore, and just like books is where it's at.
I feel like music is like, it's almost it's got to a point where it's like so disposable. Like it only lasts like that Kanye record. Like I remember back in the day, I used to get like a record on, put it in my car and listen to it for months.
Yeah,
and I felt like nothing came out for months.
Yeah.
But now it's like that Kanye CD, I bumped it like 3 times through and I'm done with it. I don't want to listen to it anymore.
Yeah.
Like I gotta find something else. Like I'm almost like on the iTunes and I'm just like new releases on I'm just staying in that section.
Yeah.
Ben's crazy right now, man. I see him like he got that Snickers chain. Mm-hmm. You know the
NFL
player of the week at the NFL gets this giant Snickers chain done by Ben Baller.
Yeah.
Or they get to hold it for the week, I guess.
Ben's
it's like
killing it, man. Like when Ben's in town, I'm gonna try to get him on here. Like I've known Ben for so long.
We'll do yours, you do ours.
Yeah, like Ben and I go back like before social media. He's been nothing but a supportive human in my life, and man, Kung Fu Ben, man, like
man, honestly, that guy got a story to tell too.
He's got stories, man. He loves to talk.
Yeah,
but he ain't lying. You know, a lot of people think Ben's full of shit. He's not.
He calls himself the Forrest Gump of hip hop for a reason.
Yeah, like stories are all true. You know, I think that they're so out of this world that people can't believe it because they don't live the kind of life he lives. You know.
I think if you listen to Ben's story, it's like numerous peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
And I think that's super inspirational for like a person like me who is like always kind of like trying to mess around with other things, but trying to stay focused in graphic design to see like somebody like who can pivot and be like, I was in music as an A&R guy and then pivot to a jeweler. Now pivot to, I can release slides on network and be like the fastest selling, you know, it's crazy.
Right.
Like I feel like when you find something you like on Instagram, you hit the DMs. You don't have like to me, I'm always like, this guy doesn't want to talk to me. I'm just a regular dude.
Yeah.
But like you don't have that mindset. You're like, yo, I'm going to go ask this guy, you know, I just want to tell this guy I like his stuff or that I'm a fan of his, you know, and then it always turns into something for you. I think that's something that I think other people should try to even start doing. Like, don't think of sliding into the DMs as like trying to get some ass. Like
I'm going to tell everybody
DMs
right now,
I
am sliding into a lot of people's DMs as far as like getting creative or reaching out to artists. Matt and I are on Instagram looking for people all the time and we find them. And sometimes like Matt and I will forget we even talked to this person. And all of a sudden we get like this guy just hit me back. You know, it's just like 3 to 4 months later, right? What's his Instagram? Sorry, Vernon. It's Vern. I'm forgetting your Instagram right now, but it's
he's so mad at you right now.
I'm gonna pull it up. It's Vern Best in the World, right? And like I've been working with Vern for so long. In the last 2 years, like I've been working with him, and like no one knew who he was, right? This guy's Instagram. I can't even explain it, but he's the king. He's the king, and no one was talking about him. I don't even remember how I landed on his page, but I kept DMing him, and he finally wrote me back, and we worked together. You know, I flew him out to Vegas and. This kid like made 6 or 7 videos for us, you know, like he just loved everything we were doing. He fully believed in it. And then next thing I know, fucking Instagram is posting about him, you know, like 4 months ago, he was on their page.
Yeah. On the Instagram.
On the Instagram page. This is 220 million followers, you know, of just like this kid's next in line. And I just sat there. Like it makes me feel really good sometimes to find people that are so humble in the beginning and they're the same even when like they get shout outs like that. You know,
it's like you know, like I was thinking, I don't mean to cut you off, but
no.
Itai.
Yeah.
I'm fucking
Itai.
super inspired by Itai.
Talk about inspiration.
Dude, that guy like is just paving a new way right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's so, if you're not on Itai, you need to be on Itai.
His Instagram is just Itai, E-T-A-I.
Even like, don't even try to like, you probably can't afford any of the stuff he's making. So don't try to cop, but just appreciate the craftsmanship and like the idea of like somebody like taking something like this and like reforming it into something totally different.
Absolutely.
And creating like almost eventually an empire off of it seems like.
Yeah. I mean, this kid's banned from Louis Vuitton. He's not even allowed to walk in there.
Oh,
like literally when you get a job at a Louis Vuitton store, there is a photo of Itai or they are talking to you about him. This is the kind of kid that's not allowed in here.
Supposedly, rumor has it you can't even like really mention his name.
No, you cannot, you know, but he's making Louis Vuitton cool.
For sure.
And he's got hip hop backing him heavy.
I think some people like just wonder, like, I think it almost looks so real that people think that is a Louis Vuitton jacket.
Absolutely.
They don't even second guess.
And it's, by the way, this is not like fake Louis Vuitton. It's just not Louis Vuitton stamped. He is buying all Louis Vuitton. It is just he's buying Louis Vuitton stuff, but that he's making it in his own way, his own version. You know, it is beautiful, beautiful work. And he doesn't only do it for Louis Vuitton. He does Gucci, Dior, Chanel. You know, it's all high fashion brand stuff. And trust me, I'm a huge supporter of that kid. He's one of my brother's best friends, and I'll have his back to the death.
Super humble dude, really nice guy.
But yeah.
So okay, let's squash it. Like I was thinking, like yesterday too, like. When did you really get into art? Like, were you always artistic as a kid? Like, were you always painting and coloring and drawing and stuff?
As far back as I can remember, I mean, I was into art 11 years old.
And do you think some of like I was always wondering like I don't think sometimes like I know I had a pretty cush childhood, but I think my mom had sometimes like tried to like give me a lot of art supplies to kind of like
I stole my art supplies.
even as like a little kid, like
Yeah.
crayons and pens and stuff. Like I'm talking like 10, 11, you're still jacking?
11, I was jacking.
You were jacking the big box of crayons from people with the sharpener in the back?
Yeah, it sucks to say, and it just
Damn.
and I didn't need to, like I will say this, like my parents, we weren't rich, but they took care of whatever they needed to until I figured out what was going on in my life, and I was 11 years old. I would say like 13, like right after my bar mitzvah is when, or no, like even before my bar mitzvah, I would say 12 years old, things got a little crazy. Like I was like full on graffiti.
Really?
Yeah, like loved everything about it. And it goes back to my aunt. My aunt, she was an artist. She's one of my favorite. She does very well in Israel. Both my cousins are artists, and they do very well as well. And I was, my aunt took me to the Venice Pavilion.
Yeah.
And I talked about that, and I remember that's when I just met people for the first time, and I just felt I liked graffiti. I fell in love with graffiti the first time I saw the Venice Pavilion.
But was there ever
it's
like
no longer there? But
was it ever like a point where you were like just drawing in books as like a because I always feel like little kids.
I was all middle school, high school. Like I had a sketchbook on me all the time. Like I was going through sketchbooks like within weeks, like thousands, and I would just draw. I don't even know how I made it through high school. Honestly, like luckily my art teachers I was always close with, and that's kind of what the people that always took care of me. I had a teacher, actually Mr. Gary Gray was a teacher of mine, and he always like was super cool to me in high school and stuff, but he would want to kill me like mid class because I was just always trying to get better. I was always trying to just do pieces and draw and draw and draw. Like I loved painting at my house. My dad set up some boards for me in the back for me to do graffiti on. I would say at age 14 or 15 is Aaron and I, my best friend Aaron, is when we set up like boards. He used to have a half pipe, and we set up boards in the back of his yard, and we had like our own little graffiti yard. And the minute I turned 16, that was like, Aaron and I, like his mom gave us like this Suburban, and we would just drive. Aaron and I don't even know if his parents knew where we were at the age we were at, like driving downtown LA. Downtown LA people was not always like, oh my God, it's so beautiful, I'm moving down here. Like you go downtown, you might not make it home, and like we were down there just in the middle of the night, like painting, just
doing God knows what.
The last thing you are worried about at that age is cops. Like you need to be worried about so much other things. But we were stealing everything. Like one of my friend's moms was like the manager at a Michael's art supply store. And she like would just she would be like, you guys know all the balls up in the air right there. There's no cameras. And I'd be like, what? Like a minute someone tells you that at age 16, 15, you're going in there with like a duffel bag.
I feel bad.
Take it out.
I still feel bad for any art supply store to this day.
Yes.
There's no way you can sell those. My favorite thing, I would go in for those paint pens.
Yeah. Oh my God. The deco color.
Yeah. And I could probably, I would put like 3 or 4 in my pocket, and then I'd pay for one.
Yeah.
And they'd never give you a hard time. And you could do that with everything in there. You could buy like the heavy.
I used to do like jean jackets and, all that stuff. I would, people in high school would pay me to make jackets for them, or, hats and stuff like that. So that was always like a cool little income, little side hustle. I would fall in love with every girl that was walking in middle school and high school, so I would always draw stuff for them. I was never good, but it's very easy to do, block letters or, bubble letters to make girls happy. But yeah, man, like I had a hookup at Do-It Center, or like Home Depot. This kid would charge me $1. I would get like 300 cans of spray paint. It's like that would last a week. We would just go destroy. You know what I mean? So when did you stop being the artist? When did you start shying away from that? In high school, there was this unit called the J Team. And anyone from my city would know exactly who they are. They would break up all of our parties. They were causing more trouble for the young youth than the young youth was causing.
So was the J team like a police space?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They were sheriffs.
Okay.
Yeah, they were sheriffs. They were just always out for us, and especially for my little crew that we had. You know, like they were just out to get us. And then rumor was like they were gonna raid some of our houses because they knew we were hanging out with certain people, and you know, and like they knew that we were doing graffiti pretty heavy. And at that point, I was like, I threw away almost everything. I had a lot of my art books and stuff, but like at that point I was like, yo, I gotta chill.
Yeah, because back then you feel like you got pulled over by a cop and he went into your backpack and he found a piece book. He'd confiscate that piece book.
Not only that, it's like graffiti used to be a lot more serious than it is today.
Oh yeah.
People are like, oh, you're gonna get a felony.
I remember they used to be able to go back. So
Yeah.
if they found one of your pieces and they could say that you did that, they could go back around town and be like, oh, this is over here, this is over here, this is over here, this is over here.
Absolutely.
And they started counting them.
And, you know, it was just hard. I mean, like these guys come to our school. If we were wearing like a Gypsies and Thieves shirt, you know, like I know everyone would remember this shirt. It's like the rabbit holding like a gun, you know, for that company called GAT, you know, and like you'd wear that and cops would come there and you either get suspended or like turn your shirt inside out, don't sag. You're like, bro. Like, what are you talking about? This is fashion. You know nothing.
Yeah.
You know. Like,
can you imagine like when tribal shirts started coming out? What the police officers were thinking?
You know, that's what happened to me after high school, or like even in high school. Like my senior year, I became super close with the tribal clique. You know, like Bobby Tribal was one of my mentors. You know, it's like I was like super heavy duty into that whole thing. I was like, bro, like. I was going to Chula Vista to go to tribal once every other week, you know, driving to San Diego just to get like, you know, so, but I never really stopped painting. I mean, I still paint, I still draw, I still go and do graffiti once in a while, you know, once you do it in the way that you have friends that do it, you always fiend to do it. It doesn't go away. The rush of painting a train or just painting is just so fun, you know. Just putting on headphones and just listening to music and just painting, you know. I used to love going out in the middle of the night to paint at 2 a.m, you know, and just like get home, whether you wait and go like have donuts just to chill to like drive home while the sun's coming up, seeing what you painted. You know, I used to do that. It would just feel good knowing like a train, it's just a moving art piece. It travels the entire United States and you just look at it and it's like really cool to check out. But I in no way was a graffiti artist. I was like, cool. I was lucky enough to hang out with graffiti artists that were so awesome, and you know they would make my stuff look even better next to theirs. So that was always like a plus for me.
But there was never a point growing up where you were like thinking like I could possibly be an artist.
No, I remember my parents wanted me to, and I was gonna go to art school and stuff like that, and I've never been that good. At least I don't consider myself good. I've drawn a few drawings that I've been like, that's pretty good. You know, one of them was. I didn't draw for years. Literally I always doodle, but I didn't do like a full drawing for years. And I did one for Abby years ago, you know, and she has it all framed up and stuff. But that was like it, you know, like I spent weeks on it.
I used to always hear that from people. People would always be like, I can't draw. You're so good at drawing, but I can't draw. And I always like would be like, well, you know, you're probably good at something that I'm not good at, but you probably spend a lot of hours doing that. Like I've hundreds of thousands of hours doodling and drawing and coloring and painting. So I think like eventually you get good, you know, like anybody can be good at drawing. I feel like it's not, or being at art, you know? So I think like, it's always like, I always hear that and I get so defeated when people say, I wasn't good enough anymore. It's like, yeah, but you maybe like, what is good? Like what is good? And like, how many more hours would it take for you to get good? Like if you went to school for like 2 years and maybe just learned like the basics of color theory and perspective, like that would have maybe added like a light years to your designs, especially if you're as far ahead as like some people think they are.
I always wanted to be a graphic designer. I just don't have the patience to sit there and learn. You know, like I watched Aaron teach himself how to do that and I wish I did that too. I always have Matt to build what I need, you know, but like there are nights where I'm in the middle of the night like thinking of something and I was like, I really wish I could do that right now. You know, like, and sometimes there is days where you're trying to get something to someone and they are not bringing what is in your head, you know, like, and I'm sure you know that, you know me well enough to know that that's not what he wants, you know, like.
Well, sometimes I submit stuff and I'm like, that's not what he's going to like. And you're like, that's it. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Like, let me work on it more. Yeah. You're just being nice. Like, I know it's not it. Yeah. But I definitely relate with that. And that's kind of, then it gets to the point where like, what did I really want? Like, is what this artist doing wrong? Like, is it like, Is it because it's not mine?
Right.
You know, like it's kind of what you got to start to think, like, and maybe not in your shoes, but like in my shoes, if I have someone else do it, I'm always like, well, I could do that better. Like, just let me do it, you know? But then in hindsight, I try to like think to myself, like, well, there's really nothing wrong with what they've done. You know, they've done everything I've asked them to do.
Yeah.
But like, to me, it's not like my perfect little like setup and cleanliness and things that I like to like mentally, I guess, stress over. And it's so weird. I think like, I think you got to let that go sometimes, right? You just got to be like, all right, yeah, it's close enough. And for you, I was like wanted to get that exact picture in your head, and you were like, no, good, it's good.
Yeah.
You got it, the understanding. I think you're just gonna sell, but like to me, I always wanted to get that exact picture. And I think that was like why physical hand art was always so much more difficult for me, because I was such a perfectionist that it never, ever, ever looked right. I could keep working on it I could work on the same drawing over and over and over and over until I just was like blue in the face.
There used to be artists like that I would look at and be like, how did you even do that? Like Ron English is like the perfect artist. Like Ron English to me is like, you're like, what? You know, like you literally want to reach into the painting and try to grab it because it looks so real. His drawings that he does of like The Last Supper, right? But it's like Ronald McDonald and, you know, Homer Simpson and all these people. And it's like, but it looks so real. And you're like, how did you just do that?
Yeah.
You know, like Ron English to me, he's probably one guy I don't own a painting and I need to like own one or like five.
I feel like like a next closest, like I love that like super photorealistic, like a Crayola in a sense.
Crayola is amazing.
Where like like almost looks 3-dimensional.
Yeah.
Like in the flat surface that it is.
Yeah, Crayola. I mean, everyone knows him as Greg Simpkins, you know, but his art name, but his graffiti name is Crayola, and he's an awesome human too. You know, great guy.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys are from Crayola side. You know, like Mir. You know, growing up, Mir was like best artist. You know, like. You're like, how do you do that with a spray can? You know,
like Rhyme or something like that. Where those
even
like
Jersey Joe, Rhyme, you know, like you're like, those guys, all those guys, honestly, like they're just like, you're like, how do you do that? I remember the first time I met Barry McGee. You know, he goes by the name of graffiti name by Twist or Twister. I was like, Aaron and I were like on Wilshire or something. He was like, Barry was like doing something for like some big museum or something, and I remember going in there and I was like. I said the stupidest shit, but I was just like so blown away that I was just meeting Barry McGee. You know, like growing up, Twister was like, magazines were like San Francisco.
Yeah, if you didn't see a Barry McGee twist head in San Francisco, you were asleep.
And like I was like, how do you do like the fades? You know, like on like what the face is, and he's like, what, you don't know? And I was like, yeah, I know. I was just asking. I just want
sure, but I want to know how you do it.
Yeah, and I was like, I had no idea, and like I've met Barry plenty of times since then, but. Barry to me growing up was one of the best. We got to send Zoe a list of like some documentaries to watch. Like Ron's got a really good one.
Oh, really, really good.
Please.
Yeah.
You know, like I think one of the, if you're going to talk about artist documentaries, one that totally changed my life was the Dirty Hands David Choe.
Oh yeah.
Dirty Hands David Choe.
Psychopath.
Freaked me out. And not only freaked me out, but showed me that everything in life is possible if you want to go get it.
I mean, Dave used to just hop trains.
He basically thumbed it from L.A. to China.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And he documented it the whole time. You can actually go on YouTube and watch him. It's called Thumbs Up. Yeah. And he goes all around the world basically hitchhiking. Yeah. And in the late 90s, early 2000s, like we're not talking like back in the day when hitchhiking was cool. Yeah. Like we're talking like no more hitchhiking and he was still hitchhiking.
Yeah, yeah. And getting on freight trains.
Jumping trains. Yeah,
like
crazy
it was crazy.
Stuff.
Then like you'd see paintings he did with blood and poop in China, or when he went to jail for a bit.
He got arrested in Japan.
Yep.
And you had to go away for a while.
By the way, this is a man that was an amazing artist and already had a crazy career, did amazing, and he, just so everyone knows, this man, like he loves to gamble in life and everything. This is the how I know the story. And he was friends with one of the dudes from Facebook.
Yes.
Sean whatever.
Yeah, not Zuck, the other one.
Yeah.
The guy that Timberlake plays in the doc.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that guy.
And he came to him and he's like, hey, we're starting this new company called Facebook. We want you to come to our office and paint a mural. And we have $50,000 or something like that.
No, we have zero money.
Oh, zero? No, it's $50,000 or so. And then he's like, we have $50,000
or 2%.
Or like 2% of this,
of
this company, you know, like take a chance, you know, like, and he was like, let me think about it. You know, that's how I heard the story. he's called a couple people that I know. One of them being Pat Tenori, who's the founder and owner of Ruka. For those who don't know what that is, that's the RVCA clothing brand that everyone wears, and they have no idea how to pronounce it. It's called Ruka. And
Rivka?
I remember Pat telling me this story. He's like, he was telling Dave, like, dude, what are you, an idiot? You have no money. Take $50,000. And I think Dave told Pat, like, yeah, for sure. And he ended up taking this percentage that was offered to him instead. And 10 years went by or something like that. And the way Dave found out about this, from what I've heard, is I think it was the New York Post or the Washington Post or somebody from the Post called him. It was like, you're about to be a multimillionaire. How do you feel about that? And he was like, what? And he was like, Facebook just sold. He's like, huh? And he ended up calling Sean, and he was like, yeah, we were just getting to you. And that percentage, people, and this is Googleable, you can Google it, Dave Choe walked away with over $200 million. You know, it's he was like higher up than executives.
Yeah, he became like one of the world's richest living artists overnight.
But
and Barbara Walters wanted to talk to him the next day.
Yeah.
And he was like, what? I just got out of Japanese prison.
Yeah.
I'm so poor, you know? And it's just the most inspiring story. And like Dave Choe to me is
Dave Choe is also one of the most talented artists walking this earth. He is so talented. It's not even funny. Like, he is top 5 on my list.
He despises his own talent to me. I feel like he's like the kind of guy that would paint like a Da Vinci type oil painting. And then when the final brushstroke was supposed to be laid, he would take black and just rub out the face.
Yeah.
You know, he's just that kind of like, he's almost punk rock in a sense too. He's like a G.G. Allen of art.
He's,
you know?
I mean, I don't know if you saw the portrait he did of Anthony Bourdain, because they were super close.
So good. Yeah, so good.
Man.
He like found the actual like being of Anthony Bourdain in that picture.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like so on point, and like even reading Dave's post like a couple days after Anthony died was like got me all choked up. You know, like I was like, fuck.
Yeah, and Dave like loves LA. You know, like when
loves LA.
Entourage was out, he went and got the same car from Entourage, that Lincoln that they drive, and he drives it all around too with all of his friends. He bought a big old compound like Joe Rogan-esque, and he like just brought all of his friends in there, and they do all kinds of crazy art. He started a band. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a little different when you have money.
Yeah.
You know, when you have that money, like do all those build outs, you know, like
and pay all those people and buy a compound.
Absolutely. Like just, man, like I just remember the first time we did Letters First, you know, me and Casey, the first Letters First with Reebok, and like just watching someone like Casey work, you know, like as a little kid was so awesome, because he's like, the attention to detail is so insane, you know, like everything from like the pins that you're gonna like be gifting people, and like, you know, the artist he's gonna be working with, and what artist goes where, and like the invite, you know, the invites for the first Letters First, it's still to me one of the coolest invites, because it's like a graffiti show, right? So like, and it has to do with letters, right? So it's like, it was a paint bucket, you know, and inside the paint bucket there was like a shirt, and the shirt said Letters First, and it was done by Chaz, you know, and Chaz, you know, created the Letters First show, and on the back of the show it's like, you know, Casey, he illustrated like some amazing stuff, like what it was, like the world famous Seventh Letter Crew, you know, on the back had all the names of all the artists, and the first show only said Letters First, and the show got so much hype around it, you know. Years later, Casey did it so many more times, it was called Click Clack, the world famous Seventh Letter Crew, you know. It's like a letter by each artist, and it traveled the world, and Casey got it everywhere, you know. And I think he's been working on a documentary for it for years. I don't know if obviously the daylight. I love watching different artists, right? Like the way Casey works, the way David Choe works, you know, the way Revoke works, you know, Ron English, Shepard Fairey, people like Zess, and, you know, people that don't even care about art, they just want to do graffiti. But even like someone like a Zess now is like next in line to explode as an artist. Like his art that he's doing is game changing. You know, I love Zess's art. You know, Timothy Curtis, you know, his story is amazing. Went to prison for 8 years, got out. First show ever curated by Takashi Murakami in Japan. Shows sold out before the doors are even open, you know. I talked to Timothy this morning. He's getting ready for a museum show. You know, I'm like, okay, bro, I get it. You're like, why are you talking to me on the phone right now? You know, it's just like, I'm so proud of all my friends, man. Like this is the list of people that were guaranteed to fail in life, you know?
Yeah, they're always told, like, you better figure out a path.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times there's been days where, like, I've looked down, like, if I check in my Facebook or whatever, like, I'll have a teacher from the past who told me that I was going to die, or my principal, you know, like, I'm just like, let me come speak at the school.
Yeah.
And let them know that this is all crap, you know, because you just got to follow what your lead in your head is. Because look at Aaron, you know, like, I always go back to Aaron's story because everyone's like, what college did your best friend go to? I'm like, college? I'm like, this dude didn't do 3 days in 9th grade. Like, he left school.
He jumped CYA, jumped out.
Like, school, like, this dude went, his parents sent him to, like, boarding schools, and he escaped from there. Like, his stories are so insane, you have no idea. Like,
called himself a cab.
Yeah, he called himself, he, like, figured it out. He's, like, his whole life, like, anyone that's ever told Aaron no, I feel bad for that person, because that person is either working for Aaron or is jobless. Yeah. You know, Aaron goes after you.
And I think, like, hard thing now is, like, when you see Aaron, he looks so clean. He looks like very, like, Steve Jobs-esque, you know?
He's not.
But if you go back and you look at some, like, the early, like, Karma Loop YouTube videos where they're talking to Aaron Levant the first time, and he's got the hat.
Ring.
Yeah, he's got the hat and the big glasses on, and he looks so, like...
He's about 80 pounds heavier than
he looked like it looked like a guy you wouldn't want to associate with. It looked like a guy that you would, like, if he came into your store.
Aaron that sold you the most. Yeah. Because if Aaron got you in a room for 10 minutes, you'd do business with him. Because that's the Aaron the people doing business with Aaron for the last 20 years, let's say, let's say 15 years. The people in the last 15 years done business with Aaron, they know the new Aaron, but they only know the old Aaron. You know, and the old Aaron is what got hammered everything into their heads. The vision of streetwear, the vision of Complex Con or Agenda or whatever other business Aaron's owned in the past. You know, from having an amazing Salesforce group, you know, with our other best friend, Kellen, from growing up. They started a company called Network. You know, before the network became what it is today, like, there was Network that Aaron and Kellen owned. You know, it was a Salesforce. They were reps for brands, you know, and they took dying brands and brought them from doing $5,000 a year to $5 million. You know, it was amazing. It's like, bro, we were not supposed to succeed. You know, I wasn't supposed to succeed. I wasn't, and I'm still not there.
Yeah, right. I was just gonna say, like, have you even reached the top yet?
No, not even close.
Not yet.
Not even close. Like,
but that's cool though. Yeah. I still, like, think that's, like, something I always, like, and I don't go home as much. I wish I should go home more and, like, walk around and start to see people and be like, look at me now. Yeah. You know, because I think they're definitely, if you would have taken a poll back in the high school days of, like, what's happening to Matt, a lot of people would have been like, prison, you know, easy, without even thinking about it. It would have been like the first thing in their bubble in their brain would have been prison. Yeah. You know, and then, like, the fact that I, like, not only that, but I got a bachelor's in science. I, like, paid my way. I've been in Vegas for 10 years. Like, the first time I was leaving Chico State, raging balls, like, 6 days out of the week, and I told everyone I was going to go to Vegas. They were like, why? You're going to go get hooked on black tar heroin in Las Vegas. And I'm like, heroin? Like, what are you talking about? They're like, that's what's in Vegas. Like, it's just the partying and drugs. And you have a problem with drugs, and you're going to go out there and you're going to get hooked on heroin. And I was like, so that was, like, stuck in my head when I came out here to Vegas. And to this day, I really haven't stumbled upon any black tar heroin, but I'm doing way better than I was ever doing before. And I think crazy. It's just like, it's only like an upward cycle now.
Just so everyone's clear, like, I've never done a drug. Like, it's not like, I barely take Advil. You know what I mean? Like, I've never smoked weed, never done coke, don't do pills. You know, like, I drink, you know. And
you haven't lived.
Yeah.
Just joking.
No, it's like,
just joking.
You know, like, I've lost friends, you know, to that stuff, and it always scared me. My mom's brother was like you know, he's alive, but he was a major addict, you know, and it scared me. And I was like, that's the thing, like, I have an addictive personality. Like, I can never shake off Coca Cola. You know what I mean? Like, I don't drink sodas, you know, I maybe one a week, but, like, I still drink Coca Cola. Like, Abby and I just went to Israel, and, like, the Coca Cola is way different than it is here. It's like crack down there. You know, it's like, it's so good. Like, Coca Cola is so good. It's like a Mexican Coke. Like, when you're eating tacos, you gotta have a Mexican Coke. Yeah. It's gotta be from the bottle. Like, how many times do you and I go, Matt, to Bomb Taco, and it's like, let me get a Mexican Coke.
Yeah, I don't even like Coke, but I still drink one.
Yeah. And it's only a couple sips. You know, it's like, I can't drink a full bottle.
That's crazy.
Are you a Pepsi or a Coca-Cola guy?
growing up, I was a heavy Coke guy. My dad was like super into Coca Cola, and it was almost like Bloods versus Crips in my house, and we were just blooded out. Like we didn't want nothing to do with Pepsi Cola. Whoever was like sponsored by Pepsi Cola was like almost like an anti in my house. Like any of those people, like Ray Charles or Michael Jackson or Britney Spears, it was just like, oh, look at this.
Till this day, no matter what, it's like you'll go to restaurants, and some restaurants you think right away, the restaurant you're in, the ambiance and everything, you're like, it's got to be a Coke house, right? So you're like, can I get a Coca Cola? Or like, I'll say, can I have a Coke? And they'll bring it, and I'll be like, a Coke with lemon, because I'm like obsessed with Coke and squeezing lemon in it. I don't know why, it just tastes really good. And I'll take a sip, and I'll almost spit it out because it's so bad, because it's Pepsi. And I'll be like, you said you had Coke. They're like, yeah. I'm like, no, this is Pepsi. They're like, what's the difference? I'm like, you shouldn't work here. You know, like it's forbidden in my life.
If you don't say it's Pepsi okay, then don't even bring it out to me.
Or like, hey, do you have a Sprite? No, we have Sierra Mist. What?
They're not the same.
They're not the same.
Yeah.
Like, they are not the same. Do you have Mr. Pibb or Dr. Pepper? You know, are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Like,
don't even bring that up.
I'm so obsessed with, I am a Coke house all day. Like, Pepsi's only good the first 2 sips if it's like super ice cold. Yeah. I'd rather have an RC Cola than a Pepsi.
I like Pepsi with like more booze, I think, because it has like a sugary value. The Coke is kind of more crisp.
Yeah, no, I don't even do that. I used to be Jack Coke guy, and like you couldn't tell me that there's Pepsi in there. That's like saying, like, can I get a Monster vodka? People only drink that because you don't have a Red Bull in your office or in your club. Or
you ever give like that knockoff one they usually have behind the bars too, like, or in the nightclubs they always have like a Red Bull like esque.
Bro, we went, like I said, I always say I go to Israel because that's where my dad lives, and I always go visit. But like Abby and I would go to a restaurant or a club. They don't have Red Bull. They're like, yeah, we have XL. I'm like, what? What is XL? You know, and I just took Tim there. You know, Tim's one of my best friends from childhood, and he was drinking more XL. There is Red Bull, but it's not in the clubs. And Tim's like, XL's pretty good. I'm like, are you talking?
Yeah.
Like,
he's like, how can I get this back in the States?
Yeah, he's like, dude, he's like, look, Tal, no calories, no sugar. I'm like, so you mean no fun? Like, you're just drinking.
Yeah, what is in there then? Yeah.
Hey, he was all about it. He's like XL 500 or something like that. If he was here, I'd be laughing his ass off. Because I'd be like, bro, I can't even drink a Monster, even in the small cans. Like, I have to drink a sugar-free Red Bull. Like, if I'm going to drink that, it's like a sugar-free Red Bull. You know, like, to stay up in the nightclub business, like, I have to, like, I'm drinking a sugar-free Red Bull and, like, a double espresso, and I'm up for, like, till 6 in the morning. No problem.
So I think you can relate to this. In college, Red Bull used to have like college sponsorships where they would have like a few people that they would like champion and say like, you're the Red Bull like sponsor on campus. And what your job is to do is like
ambassadors.
Yeah, you bring it to the house parties, you drop it off in classrooms. If someone's like walking around campus and they look tired, you offer them a Red Bull. Every now and then they would send out the Red Bull car with the girls, and they would do these activations that like I remember the guy that did it was Brandon Brown, and he like founded this not necessarily the founder, but one of the founding members of the Chico Snow Club. Yeah. And they used to throw the most epic parties, and they were all just snowboarders. They weren't even in frats or all. They just created their own little club, and they were sponsored by Red Bull. And so Red Bull was like everywhere. We had cases of Red Bull. If you were like even closely a friend with Brandon Brown, you had a flat of Red Bull in your house. Yeah. And it was everywhere. So like if anyone brought a Monster, it was like almost mandatory as a group to open it up and just pour it out on the ground. So like if you went to the store and you bought like some vodka and a couple Monsters thinking it was going to be cool, and you brought it over to a Chico party, we just crack it and pour it out right in front of you and be like, no, you're not drinking this. And we only drank Red Bull. So like to me, that's the only one I ever think is even like a legit, like now people are drinking Bang or whatever, and all these different like.
But you know what? People are obsessed with Bang.
I know, it's crazy.
Like everyone. Like
I think it's because it has health benefits, and it has like creatine and stuff in it.
I haven't even had a sip yet because I'm just like, look at these dudes. And then like the fake commercials on Instagram.
Oh yeah, they're so good.
They're hilarious.
Like Trevor Wallace doing Bang. Bang! Yeah, so good. But you know, I was just like, it's so like to the flavor thing. I think like I didn't like even when Red Bull went flavors, I was like, nah, I like the Red Bull flavor the best, the original flavor. And like I don't want the blue one, I don't want the yellow one.
They all look good though with like crushed ice.
Oh yeah, I mean even like it sounds refreshing, but it's like
It's not. It's like
But like when you were growing, like you had to be more in the Red Bull versus Monster scene.
Yeah. Oh,
you know, like
part of that whole fight.
Yeah, with like
And
Dingo and Grenade up on the hill with Monster, like,
Yeah.
and then like like Bear being sponsored by Monster back when he was doing like paintball wars and stuff. It was such like a competition probably in SoCal as to where like up in Chico it was like straight Red Bull only.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, man. Like I just hear how bad it is for people that like
Drinking on the
work
regular
for those companies. They're like, bro, like not the corporate office, but the corporate office in LA, you know, like of what they represent right there. Like they don't even have water. It's just like refrigerators full of Red Bull. Are you kidding me? Like that takes the taste of like food away. You know, like it's just so bad.
It's just like coated in your mouth all day long.
I know people, I can't say their names, but they used to work for Red Bull. They no longer work for Red Bull, but they're paid because it's not good.
Oh, okay.
You know?
That's crazy.
It's just not good for you. Red Bull is not good for you. Monster's not good. And like I know these people. I know all of them. Like half these people were at my wedding. You know what I mean? It's just like
it is what it is. I guess, right? You know, you can't like even if
it's
you're
just awesome to like.
You can't be mad at it because if you're slinging cigarettes, you still know they're bad, but you're still slinging cigarettes. You know, like now it's like the new marijuana industry. People know it's not necessarily the greatest thing, but they're still doing it out there. Like booze, for example, people have been selling booze for days, and people know how many people die every year booze, and they still sell it.
Yeah, I have this pain on my right side of my body after I drink. I don't know what it is, but I know booze is good.
It's good. it's like just imbibing poisons all day long, right?
Yeah, but you know, like I'll get up to the gym no matter what and run off that crap. I have to. Like if that's the deal I have, like I have to wake up, go to the gym, get my run in.
Do you have a lot of rituals in life that you do like every day?
Every morning I wake up at 5. I chill, you know, for a second. I get dressed and I go to the gym every day.
Every single day, Monday through Sunday?
Sunday's off.
No Sundays.
No Sunday, but Saturday I wake up, go to the gym. Like I have to, and I run. So like, you know, like I don't lift weights or I run 3 to 5 miles every single day. I used to run way more. I used to be like way more obsessed with it, and then I had a double hernia, so I had to have this crazy surgery, and I kind of like fell off. Because the pain was so gnarly for a bit, so like you take a couple of weeks off from running, you got to start over again. Like your body just one. Like So I remember when I came back, it was really hard for me to get to 5 miles again, and then, you know, and then when you get to the weekend, run 4, you know, and like get your brain up there where it's like you got to get to 4, you know, because once you pass 3, it's pretty easy to like all of a sudden you're just seeing that thing just start going. But it's in your head, you get bored.
So there's a book out there for the Bad News Book Club, and all the new members that are going to be joining the Bad News Book Club. You got to read the David Goggins book. David Goggins is like this. It's like a self-help book.
Navy SEAL.
He was a Navy SEAL, and he's like a Iron Man aficionado.
Someone else told me to read this yesterday. It was my buddy Butch.
Yeah, he runs he does like ultra marathons now, which are like 200-mile races. Like stuff that like last multiple days, and like points where this guy will like run for so long that he will take duct tape and tape his feet because they're so destroyed. But like he is like, or another guy, Cameron Haynes on Instagram, is like a keep hammering, loves running, and like the things that these guys preach about this running like almost makes me, who I never would have been a big runner, like want to get out there and start running. It's kind of something that I like. It's inspiring. I think
love running.
I
love running.
And I think like routines are super good in life. Like, do you have any routines before you go to bed? Or are you just like a one routine, like morning guy?
By the time I get home, like I'm just like, I'm delirious, right? So like, I just want to sit on the couch and like Abby cooks dinner and I'm like, I used to be the guy that couldn't fall asleep till 3 or 4 in the morning, you know, like, but I've been getting better at sleep. I've been trying to like ease my body and calm down, you know, drink less espressos.
Yeah, I feel like there's super rituals within sleep that people take, like they don't even subconsciously know they're doing.
I just learned that I've been a lot more stressed out in life than most, and I have my reasons that I would stress myself to sleep. You know, like I would be on my back, you know, like just thinking of the craziest stuff you could possibly think of, or
the world is ending.
The world, as I know it, is ending. And trust me, people, when I tell you, like, the things that go through your head are not good.
Especially at night, laying in your bed. That's what like, I think is the most dangerous portion of your day, is like when you're laying in bed at night and you're staring at the ceiling, like limits in your brain are like, there is no limit. It could be anything. Like that your darkest fear can just pop in your brain all of a sudden, and then next thing you know, you got an hour of just trying to like calm yourself back down.
Sometimes when I have nightmares, I still sleep. I don't wake up because I'm like, if I wake up right now, I already know I'm going to be up for the rest of the night. You know,
That's
so
crazy.
like I'll see through that nightmare, and I still have plenty of them.
When you sleep, do you have like pretty vivid dreams?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't have very vivid dreams. I'm more of like a wake up, like, whoa, what was it? What just happened? Like it just like the lights were off for a little bit.
Oh my God. And not only that, I'm like a light sleeper too. So like,
Oh, that's crazy because I heard like a lot of people dream like in the REM world. So like if, to be a light sleeper and be in like REM sleep are like two different
there are
things.
days where my dreams feel so real, but I know I'm awake. I can't even
Whoa,
explain it.
super lucid dreams?
Yeah, it's insane.
That's
It's
crazy.
Insane.
Do you don't take any like supplements or vitamins or anything?
No.
No, like nutritional
None.
nothing.
None.
You used to drink a lot of green juices and stuff in the morning. You still doing that?
I used to drink. I still take those shots every morning. I drink like a doctor's orders from Whole Foods. It's nothing but green stuff, and then a lot of ginger.
You get those at Whole Foods? I thought you got those at the club or at the gym.
No, I used to have pressed juicery sent to my house, but now it's Whole Foods.
Whole Foods.
Whole Foods is the truth.
Man, the Whole Foods over by us though is kind of weak.
It is weak. The one you and I go to for lunch. Is
yeah,
really
you
good.
opened my eyes with the one over in Town Center or Town Square. That was like that's a real Whole Foods.
That's a real Whole Foods.
But you also took me to an Erewhon, and I've ever since you took me there, I've always felt gypped off by everybody that I don't have a nowhere store.
We got to tell Zoe. So Erewhon in LA is like, imagine a Whole Foods because I know what you know what that is. An Erewhon is a way more expensive Whole Foods. Even though Whole Foods, I'm gonna only spend $20. I'm gonna only spend $20.
$60 easy.
$60. I spent $67 at lunch the other day. I didn't even pay for Matt's meal, and it was $67 because I'm always like, oh, I need the sandwich. Oh, I need the salad. Oh, I need cheese and crackers
Ooh,
and a lemon. Yeah.
I need this alkaline water. That's $6.
Yeah. And so Erewhon is like,
It's like that on crack. It's like
and
Trader
it's
Joe's,
and it's
like,
half the size, and it's just like these people got together and built a place, and they're like, put everything that a man or a woman walk in and be like, I need this right now, so it's like, because you go in there like, I only need this, but you walk out with like groceries, and you're paying more than like you would pay at Vaughn's for like, let's say you go in, you're spending $250 for the entire like next 2.5 weeks.
I feel like it's like the craziest science things though. Like you go in there and
Yes.
it's like eggs that were like been soaked in salt for 3 months, and like
Yes.
or like water that has been re-oxygenized, and like
You
there's
guys
just
know you're charging $9.99
just-
for a bottle of water.
there's just some things I look at and I go, why do I even care that this was in salt for 9 months? Like this has no
It's
effect
so
on
bad.
what I'm gonna eat.
And then they have like their, the place where they make the food.
Oh
right?
yeah, that was the killer.
That place is your killer.
Yeah.
'Cause right there, if your eyes are even making it there, you are easily spending $50.
And they had killer coffee. I was
Killer
only in there
coffee.
for a little bit.
Killer coffee.
I've been looking for Erewhons everywhere. Are they only in LA? That's only an LA thing?
It's only in LA right now. And the one that is where my house is Calabasas. So like,
It's even
anyone want to find Travis Barker? Go to Erewhon. That is his joint all day, every day.
Someone told me that Erewhon was nowhere backwards,
Maybe.
but I think there's an extra E in there somewhere.
Maybe, but they carry truff, so I love them.
Yeah, gang.
Gang. So it's, but that's Erewhon, Joey. It's very expensive. It's not cool. If I take Abby to town, she's got to go there in the morning.
Dude, I'm kind of happy that we don't have one because I don't think I could go anywhere else.
It's going to come. It's going to come here.
I'm for it.
They're going to come here.
100% for it.
It's not going to be good. I'm not happy about it. It's going to be here eventually.
I hope they put it up on our side of town.
We'll come to Summerlin for sure.
Yeah. Or Hendo's blowing up right now too, so maybe you never know. Or they put that training facility out there
Where?
in Henderson for the Raiders.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they're building that's where their training compound's going to be.
How do you feel about the Raiders coming here?
Well, let's
back it up.
It's too close for me because I'm like I'm a 49er diehard. I mean I respect the Raiders, and a lot of my friends are Raider fans, and I like I've been to a handful of Raider games in Oakland, and I feel like the Oakland community like puts on the best tailgate party in the world. It's almost like a walking food court, and everything there is free. Everybody will share anything on any table.
Really?
I've never ever been to a tailgate event of that nature, and they're so diehard that they will like the black hole is the black hole for a reason.
Yeah.
The A's are similar to that, but I'm a Niners fan. I've always been a Niners fan since I can remember. My dad was he's a Broncos fan, but when we moved to California, he started like this right the late 80s. The Niners started taking off, and they were kind of like the team of the 80s and like the early 90s. So that was kind of like the heyday. I remember you were either a Niners fan or a Cowboys fan is how I used to like think of it. But now that the Raiders are coming here, I'm kind of sad because I liked, you know, the Golden Knights concept, you know, bringing hockey. I think like Vegas in general needs sports. This is a great sports town. The community gets behind the teams so much, and like if you drive around town, how many cars you see with a Golden Knights sticker on it somewhere is like insane.
It's crazy.
And I think the Raiders maybe made a bad move on that part because they were once LA's team.
Yep.
Now they're Oakland's team. Now they're Las Vegas's team. So it has 3 owners basically still holding control of this thing.
I think that's why people will come here.
Yeah, I mean, I understand like the method of it.
Both
but
flights.
I feel like
only 47 minutes.
I feel like if you would have said the Raiders are no more and we're creating a new team for Las Vegas, I just think there's so much more upside.
Yeah.
I do. I think there's like in marketing and like selling all the jerseys and retail and collateral and stuff like that, and also just the Vegas locals can make it their own. Like to me, you can bring the Raiders here, and I'm glad Vegas has a team, but I'll never like the Raiders. They'll never be my team. You know, as if you made a team, like I was a San Jose Sharks fan to die, you know, and then they brought the Knights out here. And I got to say, guys, I'm a Knights fan now. Like we played the Sharks in the playoffs, and I was like texting all my friends, like, y'all going down, chomp this, you know, like, you know, I loved it. And I feel like I got behind that team, and I don't think I could have done it if they would have brought Phoenix's team up here, the Coyotes, and would have made them Las Vegas Coyotes. I don't think I would have been able to be cool with it.
I've learned to love hockey. I knew nothing about it, and I grew up with Paulina Gretzky. Knew nothing about it, didn't care about it, but like John Gray like took me to a game, and first game fell in love. I was like, this is the craziest thing ever. You know, like I was like so pumped, and it was a game that the Knights won, and it was like John's like friends with all the Knights, and they would come to the hotel, you know, like to like hang out, and I'd be like, this is so cool, you know. Sosa cuts half those guys' hair, you know, and he's always like introducing me to them, you know. It's like I love Vegas, man. Like I would say I used to be like I'd come here for the weekend and I'd pray for Sunday to come because I just was like, oh my God, I can't wait to get out of here. Yeah. Now I'm like, I love this town. I kind of feel jaded. I only got to do that one time, like have that Vegas experience. And I tell people now that since I've been here for 10 years that's kind of like burnt out now. I'll never have that like, oh, I'm going to Vegas and excitement that like the rest of the world gets. Cause I'm like, you know, Abby and I would just get like random nights to be like, all right, let's go. Like when Abby and I first started dating, like we were like, bro, it was gnarly. She's got videos of us. Like, I'm like, what happened? You know, like, that doesn't exist anymore. And it's because I'm probably getting old, you know, and it's like, I have my brother Tav who always talks crap to me because he's just like, man, I used to hear stories and blah, blah, blah. Or like he'll talk shit and he'll be around people that know me and be like, bro, you don't even know what your brother used to do. Yeah. You know, like back in the day when the Malou family owned this place, bro, I used to turn this hotel upside down. I feel like Vegas, like when I came here, they're like, oh, Vegas is just returning back from its Disneyland phase where it's not kid friendly anymore. Now I feel like we're almost like redoing that now again. Yeah. Like we're getting more kid friendly than ever. Like those old Vegas days of just the crazy debauchery, I don't think exist in this town. Right. Unless they're like in a seedier location. I don't know. You know, the Raiders are going to be cool as a community builder. It'll be fun to watch. It's going to be great. I think it's going to be great for the city. It's going to be awesome. And if, you know, just to have football here, it'll be amazing. Yeah. I kind of concerned what it's going to do to the Strip and like the back area, like right there around Paradise and Tropicana. Like it's going to be a little scary. Like, it really will. I don't know if they're ready for that kind of like foot traffic. I mean, the stadium kind of has like its own little issues, and even if you're trying to get down Tropicana, like on a night of a T-Mobile event, it's like you better not. You know, if you're even trying to get off on Flamingo, but people are going to park at the Palms. Yeah, like because it's only like a mile and a half walk. It's like nothing. You just like take a road and you're there. And that's like if I used to go to Warriors games and like you could pay to park in the parking lot. Yeah. But they also had all these like sus like parking structures around the sides or like these little open lots you could park in, and like it was like hit or miss that you could come back and like all your windows would just be broken out and your stereo would be stolen. But like those were like the craziest little parking structures. You'd park and like walk and you'd bunch of fans and like getting back was always kind of crazy. So I think that might be a cool aspect. I've been to one football game my whole life. Only one? Only one. Literally. And it was the Chargers. A buddy of mine played for them. At Qualcomm in San Diego? Yeah. Sean Phillips. He invited me to a game, and I went, and I was like, that was cool. You know.
How'd you go down there? Did you ride the little trolley to the stadium?
No, I drove.
Ah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I used to love that stadium because you could just get on the trolley and it'd drop you off right in front of the like a block away, and you could just walk through the parking lot.
Yeah.
Qualcomm was nice, and they had that sunken bowl, so you would go down in the first bowl, and it was like underground where all the concessions was.
Yep.
Nice.
So
park.
that was cool.
Man, back in the day, I used to go out to Candlestick Park. It's not there anymore. The Niners they play in Santa Clara now, but in the day, it used to be in the hood, like way hood, like HP, Hunters Point, like people just getting killed all around, and that's where the stadium was. So you used to, used to drive in, and it was the craziest thing. It's kind of like when you guys start heading towards the South Bay, and it's kind of like has its own little nook on the water. And the airport's a little further away, but it had the baseball team played there too, and it had this weird breeze that would blow, and the fog would just blow in so thick that it would, like, a day game would almost feel like a night game sometimes.
Yeah.
But they knocked it down and made it a park now, and they like re-gentrified that whole area of Hunters Point. And I had a buddy cruising through Hunters Point, and it was taking videos on his phone, and it's all like luxury apartments and high rises now because it has like this. And the whole time as a kid cruising around Hunters Point and like parking and going to those games, I never looked at what kind of view those project buildings had. And it's like, has this connotation to me as like, oh, don't go there. But now it's like, that's the nice place to go. It's almost like, I hear that happening in like Brooklyn and all those places now.
Yeah, Brooklyn's beautiful. I was just out there. It's like, it's amazing.
Yeah, but if like someone said go to Brooklyn like 10 years ago, you've been like, nah.
It's amazing what they've done with Brooklyn. I mean, New York in general is just like one of the coolest cities in the world.
So on the come up. I got mad energy in New York when I went there. I was just so like I could just it was pulsating through the street into my feet.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's the best. It really is. I mean, I wish it wasn't so expensive, but you know, it's like,
and it has like hit or miss months. I feel like if you luck out and you go in like that cool month where it's not too hot of the summer yet, but it's not too cold anymore, like I've hit or missed it, you know. I've like gone there where it's rainy the whole time, and you're like, man, I don't know. Some people like that though.
There's no winter in Vegas anymore. I mean, I walked out today thinking it was going to be cold, and it was like,
I read something on the internet that said this last month, October, was the hottest October in the history of the world. So something's going on.
Yeah, the end of the world is coming. I mean, guys, it was snowing on the Strip last winter. Snowing, dumping, like.
In October, though?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, just the weather, like, in general.
I think we might get some snow this year.
Oh, we'll get it. Winter just comes late this year.
Do you think we'll ever get to a part in life where, like, winter is in June and, like, they flip-flop?
That would be the coolest thing in the world.
You know? Like, where the environments...
We won't make it. Maybe our kids will see it.
The environments will switch, and, like, the months will have to change. Kind of like you do with daylight savings. You're going to be like, oh, summer's kind of like
Let's talk about daylight savings.
Oh,
it's
man.
like 4 p.m., and it is dark outside.
It
looks like midnight.
They're having all kinds of problems in, like, the
Life.
Nevada-Arizona border.
Yeah.
Because Arizona don't want to mess with it. They're like, no, we're not doing daylight savings. So there's all these issues with, like, companies and, like, what time do I close my store, and, like, what all these issues with this, what kind of employee when he drives over, you know.
Think about some of the states that, is it Alaska or something that just doesn't go dark?
Oh yeah, you don't have one of those, like, what is it called, summer nights or something like that, day nights.
I would love to see that because I need that kind of energy.
You ever see that movie like Insomniac with Al Pacino, and he goes out there and he's like, he's out there. I don't know if it's Insomniac, but I think it's Insomnia or something like that, where he's like in a place where it never gets dark and it starts driving him crazy because your body like will never like really shut down either. You got to kind of like go into a dark room. You need these light changes in your life.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
I need a lot of light. If I could have 24-hour light, I'd be so happy. And so
I don't think so. I think that's wrong. I think
so
if people
more would get done.
If people had all that light, they get like eventually would get burnt out, or you don't appreciate it as much. You know, I think I hear that from some people like that live in like places that have like the 4 seasons. Yeah. Because they're like, oh, I value summer so much more because I had to go through the other 3 to get here. Right. You know, and as to us, it's like all summer, and then we get winter, and we're like, oh, I just wanted to be cold again. Right. I always like tell Amanda like when we don't really have too much, but like there's like a couple weeks here and there where it's like perfect, like 70 degrees. And I'm like, all right, enjoy this next 3 weeks because this is the best weather we're going to have all year. You know, it's going to be blistering hot or blistering cold. This next 3 weeks is going to be awesome. Wow. I like that about Vegas though. I'm like a gecko or cold blooded. I don't know. Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I just need 2 hours.
2 hours of sleep?
Yeah.
Oh man, you're a crazy man.
I'm good, man. Once I'm up, I'm up. Like there's no like.
I don't think I need. I think I need like 5. I can't.
Sounds crazy. You sound crazy. That's like a full day for me.
Amanda says 9 hours, and I'm like, yo, 9 hours? I can't even sit still for 9 hours. That would be drive me crazy.
No, 9 hours is like a no. I only do that on flights.
Yeah, and you have to like medically put yourself down.
Yeah, like yeah.
Tylenol
You know what's
PMs.
crazy? I was telling somebody the other day. The older I've been getting, the more scared I am to fly. I used to love flying. I used to I couldn't wait to fly.
Like something's gonna happen in the air.
Yeah, like lately I've just been like every takeoff I'm like, oh my God. I don't know why. Like I used to love flying, love it. I used to love being on like a 15-hour flight because you got all the movies that are still in the theater and then some, you know, and like the food was crap, but you just didn't care. Coca Colas for days.
Yeah.
You know, but now I am like every flight, and Southwest especially, like, and I don't fly Southwest like on a 15-hour flight. I'm just saying, like, if I fly back to LA, every takeoff, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, but that's like an Airbus, man. You'd be scared of that thing. You should be.
Yeah.
But they have planes that have such like a low fault rate that I don't think anyone should.
I don't
ever
know.
be scared
Last
of
year,
flying.
Southwest was not fucking looking good. Last year, a woman like gets sucked out of the window.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
Remember that? Like it was no.
I don't know.
That's why Abby's like, I found a $49 flight on Spirit. I'm like, there's a reason why it's $49, and they don't have reclining seats, so no.
Yeah. I haven't tasted first class yet, but I'm sure as soon as you taste first class, it's hard to move to the back.
So, I did that on the 2 flights ago, and I remember coming home and I looked at Abby. I'm like, we're never not flying first class again. And she's like, do you know how expensive that is? I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, so fast track 4 or 5 months. My good friend Hetty connected us with these travel people, and they found these awesome flights for us to Italy and Israel for like super cheap. You know, I was like, what? Yes, let's do it. And it was first class for everything, right? And I remember landing back in the States. We landed in San Francisco, and Abby looked at me, and she was like, we are never flying anything else but first class. I was like, yeah. Like, you know, when you sit in one of those pods, it turns into a bed, and like
it's got a massager in there.
It's a massager. Everything's in there. You're literally getting the best sleep, kind of like that baby sleep where like your parents used to drive you around because the way the car would move.
Yeah.
Just think a jumbo jet is, you know, doing that to you, and you're just like welcome to America.
Blanket.
We're landing in 5 minutes, and you're like, what? You're just like,
Can I stay in here?
yeah, it's.
But have you flown the Jet Suite X?
I have.
You like that?
No.
No?
No.
I hear so many good things about Jet Suite X.
What's so good about it that you could just walk onto the tarmack and get on the plane?
Yeah,
I love that.
You don't
that
have
you
to
could show up
like
5 minutes
yeah,
before your
that they
flight.
have like 2 bag check.
But every time you take off, your heart drops.
Really? Have you ever been in a helicopter?
Yes, and I hate that too.
I've never been in a helicopter. That I think is scary.
Helicopters were not meant to fly.
No?
It is not supposed to fly. You could tell every time a helicopter takes off, it's like fighting to like get up. You know, you're like, this isn't safe. You know, it's like the 50 mile an hour winds are coming out right now to like the racetrack, or you know that.
Oh yeah, because that's how you go. Yeah.
You know, when you go to EDC, the best way for you to go is on a helicopter. So every time every time the wind is so insane in May, you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna die right now. You know, and it's like all you think about, because I have the craziest brain. Is
just the worst.
I'm just watching my helicopter like turn around the strat and like just go down. Yeah,
like that weird thing where like,
we're not that high. If we fall right now, we're gonna die. You know, like that's like what goes through my head.
Will I bounce?
Yeah, will I bounce? You know, in all the movies, everyone makes it.
Yeah, right. You just grab onto the hanger and just ride it down.
Yeah, so it's pretty bad.
I used to fly a lot as a child. My mom was always like, we were always going to like Florida or Denver or Colorado. So flying was always a thing as a kid. I super enjoyed it. And then I thought everyone flew. And I talked to my friend, and they're like, I'm going on a plane. I'm so happy on my first plane flight. And I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? You've never been on a plane before? And then it like turned out that there's actually a pretty common thing that like not a lot of people flew when I was like in my childhood. Like
crazy.
Now I think people, like a lot more people are on planes and flying around. But when I was a kid, people were like not moving around a lot.
That's crazy.
It's always surprising to me.
What's your favorite restaurant in Vegas?
Favorite restaurant in Vegas? Milo's.
Wow, even Zoe.
I feel like Milo's though. Sadly, Milo's. Shout out to Milo's.
I've never been to Milo's, so I don't know.
Milo's, you need to step it up. Last time I went, I was kind of disappointed. but you guys haven't failed me. But I was a little disappointed.
Mila's like a Greek fish restaurant.
Yeah,
right?
Mediterranean,
Mediterranean.
heavy. Yeah, super more in the emphasis of Greek and fish. Yeah, really, really well done. The tzatziki sauce, everything like the salads, the burrata, all that good stuff.
Man. All I'm thinking about is like.
I love
food
Mediterranean
right
food though.
Yeah,
You really put me on,
best.
dude. I like never ate a lot of Mediterranean food in the city. And then even though there's so many Mediterranean spots, I just like really wasn't like, no one put me on to falafel until I met you. You're like, yo, eat this. And I'm like, well, I don't know. That looks like weird. I don't know if I'm going to eat that brown ball or that green patty. I don't know about that. You know?
Yeah.
And now you take me to the shawarma place and I'm like, yo, I don't even care what it is. As long as you're telling me it's fire, just serve it up. And now I crave that stuff. Now I'm like sitting at home. I'm like, yo, is Meraki open on Sunday? you know, I don't know. It's weird, but I think it's weird. It's hard for me because like I always want to say a steakhouse. You know, like I always want to be like, oh, it's a steakhouse. But I feel like steakhouses are kind of played in Vegas. They're all the same. They always have the same cut. It's always like one piece of meat on a white plate and a bunch of like all the sides are always the same. They're always like asparagus and mashed potatoes and mac and cheese. There's really no difference in any of the steakhouses.
Yeah, you're right.
I think you put me on a Nobu in San Diego. That was fire. That was probably one of the best restaurants I've ever eaten at.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, that was like an eye-opener event.
Yeah, Nobu's great. I would say steakhouses in Vegas. My favorite one in Vegas, there's two. Well, Scotch 80 is different. It's like my baby.
I
whatever.
love Scotch 80.
But Michael's at South Point and the Golden Steer.
The Golden Steer is tight.
I mean, and like I'm like a history guy, so like Golden Steer is like first steakhouse in Vegas. You know, Meyer Lansky, Lucky Luciano, and like
booths are
Bugsy
still
used to have
there.
secret meetings there. There's like a door into like a secret alleyway, and you're like, there's a lady there that's still like is there from like almost day one, and she'd be like, yeah, Meyer and Lucky, they used to come here, and you're like, tell me everything, you know, like it's so crazy.
We went there. My mom orders this. She orders this crazy drink. She always drank it since I was a kid. It's called B&B. It's bourbon and Benedictine. And the Benedictine is like this alcohol made by monks. And basically it's this mixture, right? And it's kind of like this bourbon mixture. And the Benedictine is kind of like a whiskey, kind of like cognac kind of flavor. And we went there and I asked my mom, like we had to like kind of, had to make kind of sit to the side and get a cocktail before they take you in the back, like super old school. So I was asking my mom what kind of cocktail she wanted. And she's like, well, I don't really drink cocktails, but if they could make me a B&B. And so it's usually like a B&B is actually like a brand and it's all bottled together. But their bartenders were so old school that they actually had Benedictine in its own bottle and bourbon that you'd make with, and they mixed it right there. And my mom was shook. She was like looking at me like, and my mom never really drinks like a lot in front of me, especially like B&B will get you lit. Like it's like a sipper, like only a small. And I think my mom, they gave her a pretty good like little sniffer glass, and like halfway through dinner, I looked at my mom. I was like, "Yeah, she's feeling good right now." And so I was like thinking like mad props to Golden Steer for like having that kind of mixologist. Man. Have you been to like any of those like steakhouses everyone reps like Herbs and Rye?
Yeah. Oh, Herbs and Rye is great.
They got that half happy hour, half off steaks. That's a good deal. I feel like it's a little dark in there. It's not for everybody too. Like I think some people, it's lost on some people that you like take in with these cool like little hidden dungeons in Vegas. Like I hear like I've eaten once at the Circus Steakhouse, but I hear that everyone says that it's like by far one of the best steakhouses in Vegas.
The Herbs and Rye?
No, at the Circus Steakhouse. I think it's called
I've never
the
been there,
Steakhouse.
but yes, I have a friend of mine. She goes there for her birthday. I think every year.
Yeah,
and, I've never been there. But I hear
great things
phenomenal.
too, and that's weird too because you wouldn't expect. Like you said, South Point. I don't think a lot of people would expect to have like a fire steakhouse.
Yeah, Michael's is amazing, and it's like super traditional. Like you go there, and it's like white glove guys, you know, and like you go and like they give the girl the menu, and the girls don't have prices on their menu. It's like super old school. Only the guys do. So it's like, you know, and I think the original Michael's was at the Barbary Coast. Yeah, the Barbary Coast or whatever, or Bill's, whatever was there first.
Coast was there first.
Yeah, so it was there, and then they moved it, and it looks the same. Wow. It's like
you remember going back to the funniest thing is when we were working at the Cromwell.
Yep.
And I used to frequent Bill's Gambling Hall late nights all the time because they had that restaurant in the back that had like the traditional like $5.99 steak and eggs dinner at like 3 a.m. Like you'd always hear in Vegas, like, oh, I'm going to go get a 99-cent shrimp cocktail and a $5.99 steak and eggs. And you're like, where do you find that? You know,
Yeah.
the Silver Sevens. I'm not going there.
Yeah.
But like the Bill's Gambling Hall had it back there. And when they redid the Cromwell, I was always like, oh, I wonder what they did with that restaurant. And then when you walk in through the front entrance, and you're like, wait, you took the restaurant out?
Yeah.
You know, I was so
it's crazy.
disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, Cromwell is like not even a brand, right? Like I think that place was supposed to be like a Gansevoort, and that would have been amazing.
Oh.
That would have been an amazing hotel. But you know, I think there's reasons why it didn't happen because of Caesars or whatever. But
So Cromwell's just like
it's
there's
just a
no other
made up
Cromwells.
name. Yeah. I think if the Gansevoort was there, it would have been a beautiful property. You know,
Super boutique though. I
I messed
appreciate the
with it.
hotel.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it.
How many people do you think pass away in that little place? So that place is like, God, that's haunted. That thing is
That place
haunted,
is haunted.
for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's like one of the things I like about Vegas is like that mafioso aspect. I still try to look for that so much in town and things like that.
But it
of
doesn't.
that nature.
It doesn't.
They're trying to
really-
wash it out so
yeah.
hard.
It's crazy. Like in my head, like there should be, and I think I've said it. I don't know if it was on this or there should be like a statue of Bugsy. Like,
There is.
and where?
It's at the Flamingo.
Yeah, no. It should be like
Oh, you want
on
like
Las
a-
Vegas
yeah,
Boulevard,
okay.
like Walt Disney holding Mickey's hand.
Okay.
Like, there should be like a frozen, like a statue of Bugsy. I mean, like
Or
that man saw this place, like saw it, like he saw what Steve Wynn and the Fertittas and Sheldon Allison like have built in this city, right? Like he saw it.
I feel like the guy that slept on the most is like Kirk Rorkian.
Yeah.
That guy is like the Vegas mastermind.
Yeah.
And I think like he was such like a people's person that like no one really tells his story properly about how much business he got done because everyone just wants to tell you how good of a guy he was or how nice he was or how much of a gambler he was, but no one ever wanted to like say like this guy would like bought the MGM and then sold the MGM and then bought it back and then sold it again, like really mover and shaker. Like the guy originally, the MGM was where Bally's was located today, and he was the first one that really said like, no, we need to move it all the way to the end. And they're like, what? Like nothing was that far down on that side by then. And he's like, I have a vision. Like we build it out there, it will all come down to us.
Yeah.
And look at it now. Like that's almost like we're in some people's head where it starts.
10,000 rooms, like 13,000 rooms, the biggest hotel in the world. You know,
So
it's so insane.
What do we got
But yeah,
so far? What do
that's
we got?
it. I think we're good.
We crushed it, man.
That was a good one.
Yeah. Love talking.
We're gonna interview Zoe next time.
Yeah, we got to interview Zoe. There's this thing I used to listen to this podcast. It like really put me on the first podcast I ever listened to. It was this. It's called Combat Jack. And Combat Jack was this. It's a term that soldiers in Vietnam. It was like something you do. You'd like masturbate real quick to kind of like calm your nerves. So it was a Combat Jack, and then it became like this. Like saying, and this guy was so powerful, and he was like his name was Reggie Osei, and he's passed away from stomach cancer, but rest in peace. He was like one of the original pave way rap podcast guys, and he put so many people on into the podcast game and showed so many people the way. And he used to say something at the end of his podcast that I was listening to a little while ago, and I wrote it down because I was like, damn, if I ever get a podcast, I want to be able to say like kind of the same thing at the end.
Right.
And so let me read it to you. He used to say, internets, you know what time it is. Dream them dreams, then man up and woman up and live them dreams. Because a life without dreams is black and white, and the universe flows in Technicolor and surround sound. He said, fuck your TV, fuck your radio, fuck your podcast, we out.
Oh, God.
And that used to pump me up so bad. I used to like get so jacked that when he did his last podcast, he could barely speak.
Yeah.
And he said that and like brought tears to my eyes. And I was like, yo, I'm going to like, someday when I start getting tats, I'm putting that on me somewhere, you know?
Okay.
Because I used to like, I got into TV and film, like so many of those things were like so real to me, like Technicolor and surround sound. Like those are big moments in like film and TV history that I think people need to like stop living so monochrome and like politically correct and like, yo, let's like look at this world that we live in and appreciate it and just soak it all in, you know?
Man.
And if you got dreams, go fucking get them, dog. Winning, you know?
Trying, dude. Start a hot sauce brand.
Boom.
I can't believe it. Extra, extra, read all about it.
Hey, yo, bad news. Fuck going on?
We're gonna do this. Like, he had crazy cover art, like amazing cover art for each episode.
Right.
He had like Just Blaze was part of it.
Really?
Yeah, Just Blaze was the mixer, so he would do all the mixing of the episodes and stuff, and do like he would like was DJing during the thing.